Hello, my beautiful soul, and welcome to this video. If you're watching this video, that means that you are craving for something different in your life, whether it's a big transformation and you want a 180-degree turn, or it's something smaller and you just want to shift certain areas that may not be working the way you wanted, or you want to understand yourself. You want to understand how can you change something in your life and have more clarity, have more confidence and understanding of what do you actually want, where to go, and how to change certain patterns in your life. Whether it's a big transformation, a small one, then this video is for you. And the name for this video is Decode Your Success Code. How numerology changed my life, it can change yours. And today I will tell you about numerology because I have received a lot of questions what numeric psychology is. That's the tool I'm using. I'm just calling it numerology for the better term, the easier understanding, right? And I thought, well, if people don't really know what it is, then how can I tell them that it can help them in their lives? Because surely it transformed my life. It showed me things that I was always feeling deep inside, but I didn't give myself the permission to do so. Based due to many different factors, right? So society, parents, peers, our own beliefs about ourselves, and it already changed so many lives and so many people I worked with. So I thought that this video is supposed to happen. And I want to tell you about what numerology is, what is not, how you can use it. And we're going to go over your numbers. And I'm very excited to have you here because, as I said, this tool, and it's only the tool, right? Numerology is just the tool. The same tool as could be astrology, gene keys, human design, cognitive behavioral therapy, any therapy, psychedelic work, anything that you just can really type into yourself. This is the same. And the reason I chose numerology is just because it resonated with my vibration. It resonated numeric psychology with what I believe. It resonated with how I saw that information. And to me, numbers, in a way, it's a science, right? So numbers don't lie. If you think about that, everything is everything around us, all the we see, those are actually numbers, and that's why I thought that when I discovered this for myself, and I've learned it, and I start combining different types of numerology, I realized that how true it was. Like it's just right in front of me saying, this is the number three, for example, and this is what it gives you, and these are the blocks. And I thought, oh my goodness, I finally see the blocks. Like, yes, thank you so much. I don't need to spend years in finding those or waiting for another trigger to do so, right? So that's what it did for me, and that's what I'm going to share with you today. So we're going to talk about how energy affects everything, right? Your love, money, career, relationships, how you show up in the world, even what you think about yourself and what you want in your life. I've seen so many interesting transformation when we start, let's say, with our vision for our life and the dreams. And after we go through the decoding numbers, through the discovery phase, and then I saw how many dreams were changed to more ambitious ones because the limitations were removed at that point. We're going to decode your number, and I'm also going to tell you the next step that you can take and how can I support you in your journey. And this video is for you if you feel like you meant for more, um, but you can unsure where to begin with, right? That deeper feeling that you are capable of something else. There should be more to your life. There should be more to what you do, but it's hard to nail that because of the noise around us, of the social media, and also like our routines, right? Like we have responsibilities, we do things the way we kind of used to do them, and habits and beliefs and the mindset. So try to find out what is that more is, right? Then if you're craving direction, clarity, or healing, that's really is about that. Like I feel like when I discovered numeric psychology, it really gave me a very clear path and a map. And like a lot of people who I interviewed after my programs, I asked them what the main thing it gave to you. And they said direction, and they said clarity, right? So then you've also this is a video for the people who tried other methods, right? I'm gonna tell you, I've tried probably all methods. Well, not all, maybe I'm exaggerating, but so many of them. And I found that this exact method, in combination with other things that I've discovered and learned and studied and become a coach, that works best because I really love my life and I really don't want to spend my life into finding the is this direction is right, that overthinking process. Should I make this decision? Should I do this? Right. So for me, it was like the optimal path and the fastest way. I really don't like spending my much of my time in my life on those things. I'd rather spend on creation, right? And the joy and the happiness, traveling, friends, business, money, like everything, right? Relationships. And then if you are curious and open minded, if you're ready to explore something different, that's again was also I thought that yes, conventional things are amazing, but they also limited with the people who created this, right? And why not to explore something else? So this is my story. By the way, for those who don't know me, my name is Julia Dars. I'm a transformational coach, and I like to call myself transformational coach because the term life coach kind of makes me, I don't know, I don't want to say shrink, but I don't teach how to live your life. I only help people transform their life with my knowledge, wisdom, intuition, channeling, source resources like this, numeric psychology, right? With my own talents and energy, I'm only there to mirror, I'm only there to guide, I'm only there to propose a different view on yourself and maybe open up new horizons, right? So I'm not teaching you how to live your life. If you want to live your life and you're like, you know what, like I don't want to change anything, that's also free will. It's up to you. So that's why I call myself transformational coach. And I started approximately 9 years ago working with people as the fitness and nutritional coach. And what's interesting is that I started working at a certain point of my life with a lot of obese and overweight people. And that required of me to study cognitive behavioral therapy. And that's where I fall in love with psychology. I fall in love with behaviors and habits. I fall in love with how can I change the mindset of the person who says all members of my family are obese, which without really having much of the knowledge, but mostly of the internal knowledge, and you will realize why. Um, I thought, well, you believe in that. That's why basically you kind of think or you're saying that I am doomed to follow the same footsteps. And me coming from the family of not really fit people, and I didn't really know what nutrition or great or like good nutrition, healthy nutrition and exercising was. I'm from Belarus. We kind of ate a lot of um, calorie dense food. I'm going to put it this way. So to me, when I, change that, and I never believed that I am the product of my parents, meaning like I'm gonna follow their footsteps and be exactly the same person, meaning in terms of my physical body, as let's say my mom, and she is on more of a fluff part side of, the physique. So I said, no, I'm not them. And only my choices will define what I will have in my life. So that's why when I started working with those people, I also started falling in love with psychology, with cognitive behavioral therapy, with subconscious mind, because then I started digging deep of like limiting beliefs. What are they? What are those? Where do they live? How do they change? And also because I had my own fair share of interesting story there. I got married very young, I'd say. Yeah, well, 20, I think 22. And for me, at that moment, I started already thinking about how am I thinking that I'm late, because in my culture, everyone got married around 21, 20, and they already have had kids. And I was 22. I'm like, oh my God, I need to jump in that train fast because I am getting very old. So that led me to be in a marriage where intuitively I knew I should have said no. Many things that happen in there, I was just amused. And then, of course, I didn't know how to upregulate myself at that moment. I was just learning that. I was amused by like doing things that I really felt I should have done, like saying yes, right? Like just following whatever my ex husband was telling me. That's how we ended up being in business. And then everything, paperwork was on me and money. And I'm sitting there with 75,000 debt, divorced, emotionally burned out because I really, any dream I had, my husband cut it off, saying that that's horseshit and you need to do this because I know better. So now I kind of lost my spark in a way, right? I disconnected from it. I'm divorced. I have this absolutely amazing burden of paying that debt, being in business that because he said I don't want to deal with this anymore, and having three jobs. So my life became like this red race where I couldn't even pause and understand what I want. Like, what exactly do I want? Do I really want to continue being fitness coach and living in Brooklyn at that moment? So it was very hard for me to even like tap into my soul. And then at one point, I realized that my soul was in a way sleeping, and I was just going through just robotic motions as just my body was doing something, right? I developed the skill of working out, of eating healthy, but that's kind of it. So I went to college and I was studying at that moment, and I started studying more of psychology because I really wanted to really solve my own problems, to be honest, at that moment. And I wanted to understand what that pattern is because deep inside I felt it. I felt that I followed. I said yes to the things I should have said no. And I wanted to understand why. And I wanted to rewire that wiring. At that moment, I was already deep into studying brain. And how can I do this? The option of doing that with just conventional therapy didn't really appeal to me as the option I wanted to take, just because I didn't want to spend that much money. And I knew that, it's very subjective, depends on the school of that therapy took, the school of psychology. There's so many different of them, right? And I also didn't want to spend that much time. I'm like, well, look, my life is right now. I don't want to sit 5 years in therapy. I wanted something faster. That's how I started, like, learning. And then I went to the South Carolina, and I explored the spiritual side. I connected back with myself. However, I moved when I went through that journey, right? I was still um, an interesting place because the one thing that I didn't really recognize in myself is that I was really stubborn and overworking. And instead of being in a flow with myself, with my body, with my feminine part, I was doing a lot of things. And where at the point where I again should have said no and stopped and just recollect myself, I was still going on. And then I started noticing that I was losing weight like crazy. I could have eaten like two burgers and then dropped 2 pounds. So the picture of me right there, you can say, wow, you look amazing. But it's only the picture. If you were close to me, you could have seen my bones, really. And being back in Belarus, I decided to go and check everything. And my doctor called me at night and she said, you should go to the hospital. And that's where they realized and they told me that I was 8 points away from being in diabetic coma, which at that point was a very big wake up call for me because I realized that really I wasn't really living in my full potential, meaning there was no creativity. And in the video, and like next we're going to talk about in this presentation about the numbers, but I was like, there was no creativity, there was just hustle and schmustle, I do it everything myself, there was no feminine outlet, there was nothing for me to really like feed my soul. um, but I was just in one side, and then I got into again, I said yes to being at with working for someone at that moment, and it just turned into disaster. I again started dating the person who I knew I should have done. And I felt that he had a lot of trauma and that we're going to just trauma bond all together. And I thought I'm strong enough, like that, thinking about like, I'm going to not change him, but with me, he's going to change. Wrong thinking. Anyway, so I got to the whole stressful situation with moving, breakup, money, different, like the job was done at that moment. And I was just in a desperate season of my life. So I was sitting in the hospital thinking, if like I could have died. Like, Julia, do you understand the how ba- like it's terrible? Are you willing to sacrifice your life for something like I need to pay bills? Or you are willing to find another way of doing both? And I was really, I from very little, when I was little, I believed in, I'm sorry, you can call it magic, mystery. I call it synchronization. I call it vibration. I call it manifestation. I call it just different multi realities that we have. I really believe that there is a version of me that has it all. So how can I get to her? How can I reaffirm my brain, first of all, because it's there, that I'm worthy of it, that I don't have to follow my to-do list to feel that I'm okay, and that I can manifest money and attract money. And I love working, but I also want to work with what I want to work with on, right? My business, and I want to help people. But how can I help people when I'm sitting on my couch in pain? It took me a year to just really recover from this. So at that moment, I said, no, there is going to be another way. And with the knowledge I had at that moment, I asked to send me something that will reconfirm my, not reconfirm, but rewire my stubborn brain that this is not the path, and that I am worthy of having it all, right? And that's where the numeric psychology really found me, because one of my friends just sent it to me, and I fall in love with numbers because I always loved numbers. And again, I was doing it from, like, I'm from Slavic countries, so we were really into all different types of tarot, numerology, doing something like when I was little with like, is this guy is going to be good for you, right? So when I saw it, it really spoke to my heart rather than to my mind. And that kind of like sent that signal that it's something is in there. So fast forward, I'm going to skip the whole transformational path. It didn't happen overnight. I'm going to tell you, I worked on a lot of things. But what I'm doing right now, so imagine me sitting on the couch in pain, couldn't go anywhere because, obviously my body was rejecting. It's like, look, if you're doing this, I might as well just sit, on the couch until you realize there's a different way. And when I started doing this, fast forward, I'm right now having my podcast, that creativity that I craved, and I didn't allow myself to believe that I can do this, right? That I'm worthy of it. Speaking in that terminology, I am filming a documentary about women, and I want to inspire other women to do the same, to get back to their feminine power. That's exactly what I'm doing here, to be honest. This program, like, it just re kind of like rearrange itself. And when I started adding numeric psychology to it, the podcast, like, the business got into a completely different way. I opened up what I at that moment thought is just my passion, and it turned to be another business that doesn't really have anything to do with coaching. It's a different way. It's my creativity. It's where I can, get that side of me. I started coaching and doing dance classes, and I'm a dancer, so I crave that a lot. So all of that just right now, and it's only the part. And mean, like, I want to tell you that the how to pay my bills, this question doesn't really have or exist in my life anymore. It's so amazing when you're in your element that money just finds its way to you. You just need to go back into your authentic self, and or even not even that, but open up more, because it's always more to you, right? So what is numerology? So numerology is the study of numbers and their energetic meaning. Think of this as a very long study where back in the what is his name? Oh my goodness, just jumped out of my head. Um, Pythagoras, right? Pythagoras started seeing certain tendencies of, okay, so this person has this date of birth, for instance, right? And I see these characteristics in this person. And now this person has this date of birth, and those are different numbers. Interesting. This is a different, like, different set of skills and gifts and talents and personality. So they just started looking at those numbers as just something that kind of like, because like if you think about date of birth, do you think it's by chance, it's an accident? No. I believe that we all have purpose, and I believe that everyone is born on a specific day for a specific reason. Does it matter that science can prove it? No, science actually can prove a lot of things, right? But it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And it doesn't mean that, we actually have the tools in our current science to prove that. So going back to the Pythagoras and the study of numbers, they started studying people and with different numbers and how they affect it. And that's how it evolved over time, just being numerology. And the numeric psychology basically has that. It goes way deeper, the method that I have. And it also brings the psychological aspect of it and gives the tools, the practices, what is there, how can we rewire it, and what the blocks are there, and what we can do about it, right? So that's basically like numeric psychology. So that's what I already told you. It's ancient numerology, psychology, subconscious work, nervous system support as well. And it kind of gives you that perspective of on yourself as the whole system, instead of just being as if like the traditional numerology life path and like, let's say, like your date of birth number, right? So it's more to this. And this like why this changed me, I already told you, because when I saw my numbers, I realized that this is what I was feeling. And it was the permission slip, if you want to call it. And it resonated with me. And again, that's why it's so powerful. It's true. But it's true if you want it to be true, right? So if you say, oh, this is not about me, this is not about you. End of the story. What can I say? I didn't ask why I saw the results. I saw results in myself, in my clients, in my friends, even in my parents. I'm like, oh, it's working. I'm happy. So let's just continue, right? So I want to tell you about that person, and the reason why I brought the Andreas Saltas here is because he's my dear friend, but also he's a man, and he was absolutely super skeptical about anything like on that matter of numeric psychology. But I convinced him to go into my mastermind. I had a program, and this was the part of the program I have right now. Right, I was just getting like the pieces together. And I told him, like, look, I opened up his chart and I'm like, look, mentor, teaching, the career and the realization part of your chart is telling us that your money will be in teaching other professionals, right? And he was absolutely doubting this for so long. He was afraid. He's like, well, who am I to do this? All the classical beliefs that we have about ourselves. But when he saw this, he's like, okay, let me do this. So I help him a little bit with on the business side as well, and he made 50K literally next month. He didn't have website for that. He didn't have anything. He just was doing his thing and he asked people, and they all said, yes, we want to do this. Finally, you are finally doing this. So he made 50K, and then next, and the next, and the next. Can you imagine? Like, and now he's traveling all over the world teaching his own method. So that's how transformative it could be, literally 1 month apart. Okay, so let's decode your numbers. We're going to use all the numbers that are base numbers from 1 to 9. In the method that I'm using, I use from 1 to 22, which is the tarot numerology, if we take that. But for the sake of this video, the base number always going to be there for you regardless. So it will be helpful anyway. So birth number breakdown. So the first one, let me tell you. So let's say this is your day of birth. I am born on October 21st. So my date of birth is day of birth, 21st, 2 and 1, right? But now, since we're only using 9 numbers, we need to make this a single digit. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to combine sum 2 and 1, and I'm going to get 3, right? So number 1, people, the energy one, people are born on the 1st, on the 10th, on the 19th, and on the 28th. Okay, 1, 10, 19, 28. That's going to be your basic core number. Now there are differences in 1 and in 10 and 1, 19 and 19 and 28, but that's the specifics. Let's just, for the sake of this video, keep this in this place. So number 1, who are you? Think about what is number 1? Leader. Everything starts with number 1, right? So they're very independent, they're very ambitious, they're born natural leaders. Whether they have that position at work or not, they probably, if you remember yourself, you were probably also leading people when you were like, or your friends, where you were little, college, in one way or another, right? They're very they're here to initiate and create. They not only initiate but create something that hasn't been created yet, right? Like the new wow, new things. Again, it could be in a world, size creation, or simply for your household, something like this, right? So again, depends on where you are energetically. Life blocks for those numbers. And if you're a woman, and I believe you, like most people probably will be women, number 1 is very masculine number, meaning like the qualities of this number are very masculine, right? So like we also want to think of it as like the feminine is more of the flow, creation, and just the masculine is just more about doing, right? About like the courage inside. Uh, that's not bad or good. I'm just pointing out that. And for more masculine numbers, you always will need to do more, or not to do, but shift towards the feminine if you're a woman, and vice versa. For more feminine numbers, you're gonna want to shift a little bit towards and like explore the masculine part. Also, there are obviously way more numbers. There's your month of birth, there is your year of birth, then there is a combination, your soul mission, your fatal mistake. So we need to look at like on a like as a full picture. But again, I want this video to be very concise, and I will tell you how to get into the other steps. Anyway, so life blocks: fear of failure, stubborn pride, and over isolation. Money blocks: wanting to do everything alone, resisting help or collaboration. Relationship blocks: can appear too dominant or emotionally unavailable. Tips: learn to delegate, right? Embrace vulnerability. Leadership doesn't mean going solo. That's very true. Especially if if you're a woman, if you are working and you like have number 1, then you need to ask for help. You need to also learn how to go back to your home environment, your partner, maybe your family, and leave that at the door, like your powerful leadership position, and then be more open, be more emotional, be more vulnerable with your loved ones, right? Again, the probably the one thing that I would honestly say, because I've done so many consultations, learn how to ask for help and how to delegate. That's for number one, because they think that everything they do, they can only they can do, nobody else can do. And you're gonna be surprised how many people can do better job than we can. So I really recommend you doing that. Number two, so people are born on the second, 11th, 29th, and that's it. Yeah. So those people, uh, they are peacemakers. They are diplomats. Their talents and strengths is they're very intuitive, diplomatic. They're deeply empathetic, and they kind of how can I say it in an easier term? Bridge energies between energies. um you kind of can, like, if you have people and you in the company, it's almost like you are that glue part that unites people together, if that makes sense. Life blocks: oversensitivity, indecision, people pleasing. Money blocks: not charging your worth or being too passive in career choices. So number two would be like, yeah, yeah, I don't know, what decision should I make? If I make this decision, well, I'm gonna lose this. I'm gonna make this decision, I'm gonna lose this. What should I do? Which one is better? And that's what number two is going through. They also sometimes could be very dependent on what their partner or other people can say, so they can really make any decisions until other people will approve of that, right? So your main thing is to actually find that inner peace for yourself and find how you can make decisions based on that. And there are so many different options how you can do this. Money blocks: not charging your worth. Oh, I already said this. Relationship blocks: avoiding conflicts leads to suppressed resentment, right? So they try, because they're very diplomatic, because they're very intuitive, because they like to connect with people. Let's say if number eight is always result oriented and they're like, well, did you do it or not? Number two has to understand and has to connect with the person, like, first, in a way. So they try to avoid standing up for themselves, putting their boundaries, and not being able to navigate conflict, of course, will create a lot of blocks in your career, in your money, in your relationships. So, like, that's what can happen. Also, there could be positive and negative manifestation of each number. So you might already overcame this because if it's in your personality. Tips: speak your truth with grace. Boundaries are your best friends. As I already said, you gotta learn how to do this. Number three, and this is me. Number three, I'm 21st. The communicator: people who are born on the 3rd, 12th, is that in between, in 30s, right? Yeah. So those people are communicators, creative. They're very expressive. They're very like, there's like, they joyful, they really like, oh, I love this, like, this is amazing, this is beautiful, if they in their positive manifestation, right? They kind of true artists with words of movement. So they like to move, they like to create, they like to be in a way on stage. Beautiful bloggers, let's say, beautiful speakers, right? They could be singers as well. But in by the way, it may not be their career path, but that's what they like to do, right? So I'm a dance teacher and I've danced my entire life, but that doesn't mean that I'm gonna now, like, how can I create the career and the business of dancing? No, I just love doing this, and I have, girls who love doing it with me, and they come to my classes. And like, there is a charge for the class to cover the studio, and basically, like, I'm just enjoying it, I'm not trying to make fortune out of it, right? So that same way with you. I like to sing in my car. I like to go to sing karaoke's. That's exactly what expands your energy and you, as the human being and as the soul. So life block: scattered energy, self-doubt, avoidance of emotional depth. Whoa. Roller coasters of emotions. Oh, today I want to do this. No, I don't want to do this. Oh, this is amazing. So many beautiful ideas. Oh no, next day the ideas are not so good. Like, oh, I can do this, like, in the morning, all ready to go, and then maybe not. I can't. Why? What was I thinking? So a lot of those things, like, the just scattered everywhere, especially if they haven't worked on themselves. How do you think would that prevent you from, you know, I don't know, being in financial stability, being in something in job that you like, in relationships you want, enjoying life? I don't think so, because that was me, to be honest. Um, Big time self doubt. Money blocks, inconsistent focus of or fear of being too much when promoting self. Inconsistent meaning, I want to follow this. 10 days later, I don't want to follow this. Oh, now this is my passion. I'm pretty much sure. Nope, this is not my passion. And then doubting it. Even if they already felt that this is what they should be doing, then it's just tons of doubt. And again, that's all rewiring. That's all things that can, you can change, right? Promoting yourself, meaning in any way, you have to speak up for yourself. You create your personal brand. And I'm not talking about personal brand as, being on social media. I'm talking about you as your personal brand. And if you want to be in front of other people, I'm not saying that's like egoistically being in front and being selfish. No, I'm saying that if you really want to have a beautiful life and better position at work and career and this, you have to know how to actually show up for yourself in the manner that people will, wow, like that's amazing, right? So that's the money block as well. Relationship block, fear of vulnerability, emotional immaturity. 100%. I can relate to that. Um, I was really I wasn't really one, I didn't want to share what I feel because I felt like if I just have it, like, my composure and like be centered all the time and not react, that's what would, give me a better chance of saving relationships, of being in one, even with, other friends. But what I found out for myself is that when I'm truly I opened up and I'm like open book, not for everyone, right? That's what led me to deeper connections and actually better relationships and better options in my entire life. Tips: discipline your creativity, right? There is a chaos that has to be put into the action plan and system. That's what I have, in my program, but also that's what I was resisting a lot. And the moment I put this into the system, wow, crazy things happened. Again, discipline is freedom, and be real, not just entertaining, right? Next, before I tell you about number four, that's another person that's she became my best friend. Her husband Jared introduced me to her, and at that moment, I started putting the part of the program that I have right now, and that was just solely numeric psychology. And I just told her, like, hey, this is what I'm doing. She's like, oh my God, I'm so curious. She was already in a very good spot. She loves what she does. But she was just curious. She's like, yeah, I want to learn more about myself. What's funny is that um, after the program, and I'm going to link the testimonials below so you can see them. But after the program, she absolutely transformed her relationship with her parents that she didn't even know she needed. But she built the walls in front of her. She's number four. And then she obviously craved for other things in her life rather than just being nurse practitioner, registered nurse. I'm sorry. At like for 10 years, she's been in that position. She's like, overgrew that, but she didn't really know what's next and how to go there. And based on her numbers, I'm like, well, you are a builder, you're a nurturer. So, like, working with people is kind of given to you, but then now we need to think about it from the different perspective, how else you can work with people. Like, coaching would be one, right? Hosting events and retreats would be another thing. And she was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, no, when, right? Remember, I told you that part of my program is actually the system that we create, the schedule, and when. I need to see when, I need to hear when you're going to do this. Because if that's just like, yeah, sure, one day, that's not me. Like, that's definitely not, like, it doesn't worth it. Like, then, why even go through all of that if not to integrate it in the end? So I literally said when. And she told me I think she said March of the next year. And that's where they started, they launched their couple coaching. And now I'm helping them with their retreat. But and they have amazing, I think it's 7 or 8 couples. So it's like 20 people, 14 people, 16 people there. And then us, and maybe someone else will also sign up. But it's not the point. I'm saying that this happened easily for them. They didn't have to do any advertising, or like they just posted it, because that's like what they should be doing. And Jared is already coaching other men, and he's the star, so he is leading it. But what I'm saying is that right now we just had dinner with her, and I see how she just shining, like her skin is shining, because she is in her element. And I told her, like, look, you just becoming like, this is the only beginning. She's like, wow, I can imagine what's going to happen next. I'm like, I can feel like this, the universe has so much things for you. You just need to keep on expanding yourself, right? Number 4, the builder. People are born on the 4th, 13th, and 31st. Mm-hmm. And 31st. So, talents and strengths. Practical, very dependable, grounded. You are the foundation others build on. Those people, when you see them, you're like, I know I can trust this person if they are in their positive manifestation. Life blocks, rigidity, resistance to change, over responsibility. I'll do it on myself. Even if it's a woman in marriage, how many people I already done the consultation with, and it was so interesting. She's in marriage, but she's doing everything on herself. And then she's surprised why her husband doesn't really want any like romantic relationship, because it's very hard to be in romantic relationship with a very masculine energy, right? So it has to be a balance there. Money block, staying too safe or small, fearing risky growth, right? Caitlin, I told her, you have to go there. This is your next level. And she was like, and she's making good money, so she really didn't have to, but she was like, okay, I'll do it. And I saw, like, we obviously chatted, and she was a little bit, it had a little bit of fear. Certain transformations were happening, but now it's just beautiful, beautiful. Relationship blocks, emotional control, difficulty expressing affection, right, for a woman. So tips: trust that flow can coexist with structure, especially for women. If you have those numbers, you just have to lean back into more of a. So if me, I'm 3, I was more of the go with the flow person. Structure was really hard for me. Sitting down, when I was building my schedule, I was like, how can I know what I'm going to do like here? What if I want to do something else, right? Then number 4 is vice versa. Is everything built on the schedule? You should see Caitlin's laundry room. She has her entire calendar there. And I'm like, of course, right? But it's not bad. Bad if you only shift to one direction and being rigid in one direction, but you need to combine those two things together, right? So for number 4, creating that flow into your life will be absolutely something that already, like, just go with the flow. Like, oh, I'm not going to schedule one day in my life, we'll see what's going to happen. Number 5, the adventure. Number 5, people are born on the 5th, 14th, and 23rd. So love freedom, by the way. Dynamic, adaptable, freedom seeking. You're here to experience and evolve, also to teach other people, because learning, studying something, and then you need to, like, if you want to expand your energy, you need to give it to other people, because it's very easy for you. Life blocks: escapism, impulsiveness, commitment issues. Number 5, and their commitment. Oof, try to do that, right? So that's why the freelancing job would be way easier for them, because now they don't feel like they stuck in the box. Um, then relationship blocks: fear of settling down or losing independence, right? So like commitment, again, issues there. Tips: channel freedom through meaningful purpose. Find that star and know that in order for you to go there, there has to be certain commitment, right? There have to be certain things change that will lead you to that big purpose, right, in your life. Commitment is power. I can agree to that. Number 6, people are born on the 15th, and 24th. So you are nurturer, lover. Those people usually, I well, I've been doing it for so long, so I can see people, and I'm like, oh, she's definitely six. You can just see how the way they dressed. It's very feminine. It's maybe like fashionable. They love fashion, by the way. So they loving, responsible, harmony driven. You are the heart of any home or group. They really love making the cozy environment. Caitlin in your life, her life path has number six, and now she's organizing spaces for retreats, which is interesting, right? Life blocks, overgiving, martyrdom, perfectionism. Also, not trusting yourself, not loving yourself, relying a lot on the love from other people, not giving it to yourself. So I'm loving myself if I know that he loves me or she loves me, and I hate myself if I know that he didn't choose me. Really big things over there. Relationships block, codependency. That's what related to what I said, and trying to fix your partner as well, or seeing at like being a very like superficial kind of level, right? Like if you don't have that brand, I don't think I want to talk to you, or money or whatever. um Money blocks, undervaluing yourself by serving others too much. I have a girl, she's amazing, and she has sixes, not only one six. And she is amazing artist, but but it's just like, well, nobody wants to do like to see this, and nobody will, not that will buy it, but it's almost like she is just doing it for, because she, it's like she used to doing this, right? And not so much of like, hey, this is me, like look at me. So that's a very big thing. And then tips: serve from overflow, not depletion, right? If you feel like you need to stop and pause and just recollect yourself, then do this. And please love yourself first, because otherwise it's going to be very hard for you to give from the empty cup. Number seven, the mystic. We call them people from this different planet because they are very deep. They like existential questions. They don't really like small talks. Really, they're really they don't trust easily. So deep thinker, spiritual seeker, analytical. You see beneath the surface. That's why I said that they really don't like a small talk. Life blocks, isolation, cynicism, overthinking. Yep, they like, well, you're not too deep, or you're not worthy of my communication because you something blah blah, right? Money blocks, distrust of material success, fear of being seen, right? So because they're very spiritual and connect and deep thinker, it's like, um, money doesn't matter until it does, and but they like, I don't know, like, is that connected to my purpose? So that could be a big thing for them as well. Relationship blocks, emotional detachment, fear of intimacy. Again, as I said, they don't really trust that easily. So opening up for them, and because they used to just running around like 400 miles, it's hard for them sometimes to actually stop and think what they feel at this moment. Tip: combine intellect with intuition and let people in. Mhm. Then number eight, powerhouse. So we're approaching 1 hour, so I want to just keep it, keep the timing there. Talents and strengths: ambitious, strong, magnetic. You are here to master power in abundance. People who build system absolutely love money. Money loves them. Sometimes could be hold on onto justice way too much. Life blocks, control issues, fear of failure, karmic lessons with power, right? Like overusing your abilities sometimes can lead to really being blocked in your life. Money blocks, money comes and goes unless you heal your power wounds, right? Um, and it could be both sides. I think I see more on the opposite side right now, as people don't really believe that they have that power within them, right? Like, you gotta build the systems, like you have that power. When I see, again, when I'm reading, I see numbers, so I'm reading through numbers, and I'm like, wow, look at that. And I see the person who's doubting yourself, but that's why I'm here, because seeing through numbers and helping you get back into your power. Not even get back, build that inner core, strong inner authority, build on top of it, and actually expand it through the things through the realms that you don't even know existed for you. Oh, I have chills right now. Relationship blocks, dominance or attracting, controlling dynamics, which the mirror, right, for you. Tips: lead with integrity. Money is energy. Respect it and don't chase it. Number 9, wise soul. Talents and strengths: compassionate, wise, humanitarian. You are here to heal and uplift. Guide, mentor. My realization triangle, money triangle, is number 9, which means I need to give that love, nurture, wisdom, knowledge, mentorship, compassion, empathy to people that I have. And that's where it doesn't, again, it could be in different situations, right? That's where my money would come from again, or how I'm gonna energetically attract that. Whether it's from another business, doesn't matter. Maybe somebody just hand me a check, for instance, right? I'm just exaggerating, of course, but I'm saying that it doesn't necessarily relate to my time spending on. That's what it relates to the money. It's really bigger than that. Life blocks: emotional heaviness, difficulty letting go, savior complex. That's me. Always wanted to heal my partners, thought that they're gonna change. Couldn't let go of the love that I thought is only gonna happen one time in my life. So all like things or beliefs and things like that. Again, at being next to death was really that taught me. But I hope it's not gonna get to this point for you. Money blocks: guilt around wealth, giving too much away. That was me, really giving a lot of coaching lessons, giving a lot of things without actually naming the price for it, right? And it's not that people didn't want to pay. They're just like, well, you're not asking for price. Then it's free, right? But I also didn't believe that I can charge for it. Of course, people feel this whole thing. Then relationship blocks: attracting wounded partners or living in the past. Ta-da! Until I said, I am not here to heal you. Thank you so much. You're really attractive. I really had um, a lot of attraction for this man, and I wanted to say yes, but then I realized and remember that it's not my part, and I am not here for that. And I just let it go, and something shifted. Really, like the layer of that heaviness in the space of relationship shifted for me, and it was beautiful. Tips: heal yourself first, right? Let go. I'm going to tell you this secret: you already have what you want, you just need to let go of what blocks that for you, right? Easier said than done, I know. Your light service best when it's full. Totally. Okay, so in my work, almost done. We do, whether it's one-on-one on the program, we do the soul purpose, we do the spiritual, we do the life path and relationship, we do money realization, we do all of that, and it goes really deep. There are 32 numbers that could be combined together, not only for yourself. I'm going to give you this, that with this knowledge, I hire people, I hire my team using that knowledge. I choose I don't want to say choose friends based on that, but it kind of reconfirms me. Like when I ask the question, I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally my person, right? Partners, you can use it for your friends. You can help them. You can use that knowledge for your partner. See like the why you met, what is the task for your couple, right? As it is a partner for your child. If you have a child, depends on the year, but you can have the talents of the child and see what naturally they're inclined to, instead of paying for something very expensive and realizing 5 years later that your child hates piano because all they wanted is to, let's say, go and draw or play football, for instance, right? So that's in that manner. And it just becomes like that blueprint, the compass that you will have once you see it. All my girls that went through the program, they like, and I get like some people just reaching out from them because like, hey, I was and she was telling me about numbers, but she said like that you were really like, who taught her, can you do this, so it's just amazing how people get to heal other people through just being in this space right now and then just getting that knowledge over. So If you haven't received your mini decoding yet, the link will be below. That's pretty much what I can, give you, and like the taste of numeric psychology as well. After you do this, after you do the fill out the request, you're gonna have to take the schedule, your schedule, and book the chat with me, because I value what I do and I don't want it to go to waste, especially if you just take it and read it and like, okay, I'll get back to it later, right? Because again, the life, the responsibilities, the schedule, and all of these things, right? So this is one thing. The next thing that I want to tell you is that you can apply for the pre-qualification from my program. In that program, we go all over. It's called Discovery. So we go Discovery. Oh my God, it's Dream Framework. D stands for Discovery. That's where we study numeric psychology through, like, from A to Z, right? We go through the release, where I teach you how to release those blocks. Remember what I said, that you need to let go of something that prevents you from being in that space where you already have it all, right? Then we go through Elevate. That's where we learn decision making. That's where we learn our self worth, boundaries. And those are not only just energetical, right? Energetic. It's not that I'm going to tell you, like, hey, you love yourself. No, those are actual practices that you're going to get through that program. Actual thing. We're going to get into work, and I'm going to make sure you complete that work with my coaches. Then we're going to go to Elevate. That's where we again get into the creation mode, into that feminine flow, see where you want to be, what your dreams are, who you are right now, like what is that, what is that next step. And then in the manifest, I call it manifest, but it's really, I'm going to take you by the hand, and we're going to go and we're going to open up your schedule. We're going to see what's blocking everything right now. We'll see what's draining your energy. We'll see what rituals you need to have in order for you to achieve that. And that's really corresponds with the Elevate stage. And then we're going to sit down. We're going to make sure you have this on your schedule, and we're going to execute the plan for you. Step one, step two, step three. And after depends on the package people choose, but usually it's a month after the completion of the program. The program is 3 months. We are going to be with you, which means I am there, and I'm going to be asking you, I'm going to taking the space, I'm going to hold you accountable as well for this. So I want you to get there, right? That's my mission, and I want to make my mission, what do you call, I don't even know. I want to make my mission just here. I want everybody to feel that light and that life of excitement, and that they won't regret in the end that they haven't done something, right? So that's the thing. Before starting the program, there is a pre-program intensive with me and another coach. We're gonna do nervous system reset, nervous system regulation, and with me, we're gonna go through the actual numbers. So on the program itself, we're already going and working. Okay, so thank you so much. I'm very grateful for you to be here. Let me go and return for you in my full. Okay, we almost get it in 1 hour. It is 1 hour. So thank you so much for watching. If you know someone who you want to share this video with and who would benefit, please send this video. Again, the decoding request form is below. Book the call with me, and the program as well, pre-qualification program. Pre-qualification form doesn't mean you get into the program. It doesn't ask you to pay for anything. It's just there so you can reserve that spot with the best pricing and the best options. Okay, so that's it. Look, I want you to reflect on everything from what you heard today. I want you to really connect with yourself and ask yourself, am I living in the life I really want? Is that the life I want? Or is it the life my parents wanted, my partner wanted, my kids wanted? What is this life I'm living in right now? Is that and you will hear. You don't need me, you don't need anyone, you need numeric psychology to actually hear from within that if you like go like this, that's not the answer. But if you like, yeah, parts of it are amazing, but I really feel like there is a disconnect, and I don't want to settle for less in this life. I want to have it all. And I grant you that permission. The universe grants you this permission. God grants you this permission. We all want you to have it all. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here with a lot of love and gratitude. Julia Dars. Mwah. I hope I see you soon. Bye.